Good day everyone, I'm John Rainier C. Payonga, the leader of this group, and we will tackle about the human environment system. But before we start, meron akong babasahin na isang quote na konektado sa ating topic. At ang quote na ito ay, "Society shapes nature and nature shapes society." Ang lipunan ay may obligasyong pangalagaan ang kalikasan at ang kalikasan ay may obligasyong pangalagaan o pahalagaan ang lipunan. Sa aking opinyon ay ang kalikasan at ang lipunan ay dapat nating pangalagaan o palagahan dahil ito ang source natin upang tayo ay mamuhay. At ngayon naman ay dumako na tayo sa ating aralin sa Human Environment System. Human Environment System, or also known as Environmental Social Science, Sustainability Science, and Coupled Human Natural System, or CHANS, refers of an integrated scientific agenda of studying the border and mutual interaction that links human to natural subsystem of the planet. And also, according to world-renowned social anthropologist Emilio Moran, it is a cross-disciplinary venture based on the beliefs that social and natural systems are inseparable. And lastly, it deals with a broader study into the intricate nature of mutual interaction and feedback between human on the environment and the effect of the environment on human. Also, human environment system includes the way people depends on the environmental for food, water, timber, natural gas, and etc. Next is the way people adapt the environment to fulfill their own needs o kanilang pangangailangan sa pang-araw-araw. And last is the way people modify the environment positively or negatively, like drilling holes, building dams, and etc. Additional dun sa mga sinabi ko na na-includes ay meron pang additional na ang human environment system ay nakatuon sa teoryang disiplina at hierografiya. At isa pa, binibigyan diin ang interaksyon ng tao at kanyang kapaligiran o kalikasan. At ang anumang gawain na nilalaan natin sa kalikasan ay direktang nakakaapekto ito sa atin bilang tao. At ang huli, pag-unawa sa mga batas kung paano pinag-uugnay ang human system at environmental system. At ngayon, ikumpara natin ang human system at environmental system. Ang human system ay kinapapalooban ng mga institusyon, aktibidad na binubuo sa lipunan na nilikha ng tao. At nakapaloob dito ang government, politics, industrial waste management, agriculture, urbanism, culture, and tradition. Pagdating naman sa environmental system or environment system ay nakapaloob dito ay ang biodiversity of earth, global weather, landscape, and planet life. Ito ay binabatayan ng hierographiyal na aspekto at nakatuon dito ang biological at ecological na sistema ng mundo or ang natural system. At additional na impormasyon ay ang kolaborasyon ng environment system at human system. Ang political at ekonomiko na sistema sa lipunan ay bumubuo ng mga batas na maaaring mag-alaga at makasira sa kapaligiran at kalikasan. Mamaya ay tatalakayin naman natin ang mga batas na nakakaapekto sa ating lipunan at sa ating kalikasan. Karaniwang nakaangkla ang konteksto ng batas sa produksyon ng pagkain na may nalalaan ng kalikasan sa tao. At ang huli, malaki ang epekto ng human system sa kalagayan ng environmental system. Dahil ang human system ay konektado sa environmental system dahil ang mga tao ay umaasa sa ating kalikasan dahil doon tayo kumukuha ng ating mga resources. Ngayon naman ay dumako na tayo sa mga batas kung saan ay may mga positibong epekto at negatibong epekto sa atin at sa ating kapaligiran dahil dito tayo kumukuha ng ating resources for ating mga pangangailangan sa araw-araw. Una na dyan ang Republic Act of 9003. Nakasaad sa Republic Act 9003 na ang wastong pamamaraan ng pamamahala ng mga basura sa programa ng pamahalaan sa pagbabawas ng basura at alintunin ng wastong paggamit sa ating likas na yaman. Sa RA 9003 nakapaloob dito ang waste management kung saan dito natin hinihiwalay ang mga nabubulok, di nabubulok at mga recycle. Ito ay isang paraan upang mabawasan ng mga basura sa ating kapaligiran. At ang sunod naman ay ang RA 9275 or ang the Philippine Clean Water Act. Ito naman ay tumutulong sa lipunan lalo na sa ating yamang tubig upang ito ay malinis. Upang magamit din natin ang yamang tubig sa maayos na paraan. Sa mga nabanggit ko na iyon ay mga positibong or ito yung mga Republic Act or mga batas na ipinatupad na makakatulong sa ating kalikasan at lalo na sa ating tao. At ang mga susunod kong babanggitin ay ito na ang mga negatibong epekto. May mga bagay lalo na sa ating lipunan na may negatibong epekto sa tao at sa kalikasan. Una na dyan ang Philippine Mining Act of 1995. Nakasaad dito sa Philippine Mining Act, all mineral resources in public and private land within the territory and exclusively economic zone of the Republic of the Philippines are owned by the states. It shall be the responsibility of the state to promote the regional exploration, development, utilization, and conservation through the combined efforts of the government and the private sector in order to enhance national growth in a way that effective safeguard on the environment and protect the rights of affected communities. Nakapaloob dito ang mga lalo na ang mga minahan kung saan may mga lugar na naapektuhan lalo na sa mga kabundukan na nagsasanhi ito minsan ng trahedya lalo na ng landslide kung saan mayroong mga bundok or may mga lupain na pinagmiminahan nila or hinahanapan nila ng mga ginto. At ang huli naman na example natin na may negatibong epekto ay Republic Act number 6234. Ito ay may negatibong epekto sa tao dahil pinapatayuan ito ng mga dam dahil sa ating mga pangangailangan lalo na sa tubig. Ginagawa nila ito para malimitahan ang paggamit ng tubig lalo na sa pang-araw-araw.
Historical context. This has been a result of several factors such as evidence for climate change, loss of biodiversity, rapid deforestation, and imminent crisis is the availability of potable water. Global environment change until 1988 was carried out by the earth science discipline such as meteorology, atmospheric chemistry, atmospheric science, and geology. In 1987, the International Biosphere Program (IGP), who was initiated because of the need for an international joint research enterprise on the phenomenon of global range. From 1987 to 1990, a special committee was tasked to initiate the planning and implementation of the program, and in 1988, this team composed of around 500 scientists turned to social scientists and asked them to collaborate with them in an effort to understand the human dimension of global environment change. In 1992, they were able to publish the book Global Environment Change, Understanding the Human Dimension, which set the tone for research in this area. It focused on climate change, biodiversity, pollution, and international environment facts, driven by a rising awareness of global impacts such as build-up of earth warming cases, the increasing amount of ultraviolet radiation due to the change in appearance of ozone layer, of proof of glacier meltdowns because of the global change. Human environment research become important. Moron 2010.
Key concept in human environmental system. Landscape is an important concept in the study of couple human environment systems. It refers not only to the beautiful spot that you view from the scenic perspective, but the mixture of environmental and human phenomenon that coexist together in a specific place on the earth.
Landscape includes physical features such as rivers, hills, forests, and soils, as well as human-made buildings, roads, bridges, and mines. In a landscape-centric view, none of the said features is absolutely separate the human from the non-human. Explanation: landscape can give human geographers information about how a culture lives, what they value, and how they interact with the land. Examples of cultural landscape include golf courses, urban neighborhoods, agricultural fields, relics, and heritage sites.
In understanding how landscape change over time and the individual sense of place in these changes, interpreting mind maps as well as somatic maps might be useful. Mental and thematic maps provide us with the necessary means of making sense of the world and storing information about how human interaction with the environment create and change landscape and the roles people play in these changes.
Spatial distribution are concerned with who or what is being observed, as well as when and where it is being observed, while spatial processes focus on why and how spatial distribution exists.
Another important concept is feedback. Feedback mechanism, which refers to the phenomenon of system components both affecting each other and which creates a feedback loop. Feedback is effect to a system component that is a result of an action done by the component.
Feedback is an essential part of communication, and it can be used to reinforce positive behaviors or identify areas for improvement. Understanding the two types of feedback is important for both individuals and organizations to improve performance and achieve their goals. There are two types of feedback. The first one is positive feedback. Positive feedback is used to reinforce or acknowledge good performance or behavior. It is often used to motivate individuals to continue performing well and to help build their confidence. Examples of positive feedback include praise, recognition, and rewards. Positive feedback can be provided in many different forms such as verbal communication, written notes, or public recognition. And the last one is sustainability. Sustainability involves balancing social, economics, and environmental considerations to ensure that we meet our needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. This required us to use resources wisely, reduce waste, and minimize negative impact on the environment. It is important to understand why sustainability is important. One of the main reasons is that we are facing significant environment challenges that threaten the well-being of our planet and its inhabitants.
Before we move on to the thinkers and their contribution, let us know first what is geography. Geography is the study of places and the relationship between people and their environments. Sa madaling salita, ang geografiya ay ang pag-aaral sa mga pisikal na katangian ng daigdig, ang iba't ibang lugar sa mundo at ang relasyon ng tao sa kanyang kapaligiran. Sinusuri din ng isang geographer kung paano nakaaapekto ang kultura ng tao sa kapaligiran at kung paano nakakaapekto ang lokasyon at lugar sa pamumuhay ng mga tao. One of the thinkers and their contribution is Carl Sauer. Carl Sauer is a famous geographer and encouraged environmental thinkers to study the humanized environment or the idea that the environment is influenced by human activity. Terms of landscape during the early and mid-20th century. One of the theory of Carl Sauer is the cultural landscape. Cultural landscape is the imprint of human activity on Earth's surface. A cultural landscape is a certain area where cultures have left detectable artifacts. Generic term recognizing human contribution to most natural landscapes on Earth. According to Sauer, this interaction between the natural landscape and human communities creates the cultural landscape. For example, nung bata pa tayo, lagi natin sinasabi na, ay, alam niyo ba yung school na to, dati daw tong sementeryo. And just like nang pag-assume natin na sementeryo ang school natin dati, ganun din yung pinapahayag ni Carl Sauer sa theory niya. Another example is swimming pool. Materials used is from nature. Natural and man-made materials that is made from the resources of nature. Other examples are museum. As Sauer, 1925, stated, the cultural landscape is fashioned from the natural landscape by a culture group. Culture is the agent, the natural area is the medium, the cultural landscape is the result. As the famous formula by Carl Sauer has it, nature plus culture is equal to cultural landscape. Take a forest and then turn it into farms. It's a cultural landscape. And when you take the farms and turn it into the suburbs, cultural is still cultural landscape. But what if you take a rainforest that looks like it has never been touched by humans? This must be a natural landscape, right? No, not so fast. Geographers might classify it as a cultural landscape too. Bakit siya considered as cultural landscape? Cultural landscape is part siya ng mga nabago, pero hindi siya nagalaw. Sauer defined the landscape as the defining unit of geographic study. He saw that cultures and societies both develop out of their landscape, but also shape them too. Sauer insists that all cultural landscapes have the genetic or historical characteristics. Cultural landscape is formed and shaped throughout the time sequence. Nakikita ni Carl Sauer ang landscape. The more na umaandar ang oras, nababago ang itsura nung landscape na yon. Let us move on to the next thinker, which is Donald Meinig. Donald Meinig is an American geographer. His research interests include historical, regional, cultural, and social geography in landscape interpretation. He explained that in a landscape, people look differently and interpret in their own way. How they see things such as nature, habitat, system, problem, world, and more. However, he backed up the theory of aesthetic, saying that landscapes have their own beauty, essence, or importance, and truth in them. Katulad ng pagtingin natin sa mga damit, sa mga ibang bagay, kesyo maganda to or maganda yon, aesthetic to, aesthetic yon, ganun din yung pagtingin and yung theory na pinapahayag ni Donald Meinig sa bawat landscape, that every landscapes have their own beauty. In summary, Carl Sauer thinks that human activity influences or affects the environment because of their culture, while Donald Meinig explained that people look and interpret landscapes in their own way.
There are several strengths and criticism related to the interaction between humans and their environment. In strength, we have adaptability. Humans have shown an incredible ability to adapt to various environmental conditions, such as changes in temperature, humidity, and precipitation. This adaptability has enabled humans to survive in some of the most inhospitable environments on Earth. Creativity. Humans have also demonstrated remarkable creativity in finding ways to modify their environment to suit their needs. This includes constructing buildings, dams, irrigation system, and other infrastructure. Last one is resourcefulness. Humans have a remarkable ability to make use of the resources available in their environment, whether it be food, water, or raw materials. This has enabled humans to develop a wide range of technologies and innovations. That was strength have. Now let's proceed to criticism or critics. First is environmental degradation. Human activities such as deforestation, pollution, and overfishing have led to significant environmental degradation, which has negatively impacted ecosystem and biodiversity. Climate change is the next one. Human activities, particularly the burning of fossil fuels, have led to the buildup of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, which is causing global temperature to rise and leading to significant changes in weather patterns. Next one is unsustainable practices. Some humans practices such as overfishing, overgrazing, and excessive use of pesticides and fertilizer that are the unsustainable and can lead to long-term environmental degradation. Lastly is inequity, or let's just say lack of fairness. The impact of human activity on the environment is not felt equally by all people. The negative effect of environmental degradation are often disproportionately felt by marginalized communities who are more likely to live in areas with poor air and water quality and are more vulnerable to the effect of climate change. And that's all for our discussion today. Now we can proceed to some quick questions about the topic we had lately.